thing.
Oh, wow. This is awesome. Transformers
Spray
Age of
balls?
Extinction is at 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's the lowest I've ever seen one.
What is it?
The new Transformers.
It's at 13%.
Oh, it's going to be so
Wow.
good.
That's bad, isn't it?
Look, yes, but it was going to be bad.
They were going to rag on it.
That's
It's
exactly
all
right.
critics do. They all
It
get
was
off
gonna be,
like...
it could be movie of the year, and they would give it like they would talk about how it was actually better than they thought it was, and then give it like a 1 out of 5.
They historically have terrible reviews, although Dark of the Moon was like 60%.
I can hardly remember that one.
We just
Is that how
watched it
fresh
last
it
night.
is?
I really wanted to rewatch them all, but it didn't happen.
I watched them all three at the same time. 3 different TVs.
I actually loved the first one. Like when it first came out, I think I saw it 3 or 4 times in theaters.
The third one is my favorite. We watched it last night. I
I
love
never
it.
did.
I'd have to
see
watch
this
them
one.
all again. I'd have to rewatch them all to accurately.
Revenge of the Fallen is like the most ridiculous one, but I really like the fact that it's almost wall-to-wall Transformer. Like, there's never not a Transformer on screen in that movie.
Yeah.
And RC was awesome, and I wish she would have come back for the third one, because
Who's
I thought
RC?
she's the motorcycle. There's like 3 of them, 3 motorcycles, but they're like
The
a
scene
female.
in the
robot.
third one where Optimus, or the second one when Optimus Prime is basically dead, that was sad. Like
He does.
that's a powerful scene.
My favorite scene is the scene in the third one where the men jump out of the plane, because that shot where they're coming out of the plane and Michael Bay everything stops and then the sound drops out and it goes slow-mo and then they jumped out. That was all shot. That was all legit. Like, they literally followed those guys out of a plane
Wow.
with the IMAX cameras and jumped with it.
Is
that
that
scene-
legal?
That scene's nuts. I'm dying. Hey, guess what they finally put out in an album? The Michael Giacchino's Speed Racer score.
Is that the
Oh,
one?
that's such a fun movie.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
so do I. The score is amazing.
They need to edit out that kid. They should make a cut like that Game of Thrones
Yep.
that Paul's been watching.
Yeah. Watch it sometime. I'm telling you, Alan, just watch it and fast forward through the scenes with the kid. You'll love it.
The Kid and the Monkey?
Yeah.
Kid and the Monkey's the worst part.
Well, yeah, it was, but it didn't ruin the movie.
They
It doesn't
ruined-
ruin the movie, but if you fast forward their parts, it definitely makes it a lot better.
The climax to that film is so freaking intense.
Yeah. It's I think it's like right up there with Rocky. Like, the end of that movie makes me want to run out and start killing everyone. No, it makes me want to go out and like accomplish something.
Is
This should all be on air. This should all be. Well, it is on air, but we should be
wow.
recording.
Wait, is Rocky the one with the boxer?
No, it's the one with Pitbull. Let's go. You guys ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Paul, you're doing your counting.
What episode is this?
112. Let's do for the Summer of John's episodes. Let's do like after we say the count in and say the episode number. You can say like hashtag Summer of John's.
Summer of John's. Yeah, that's. I was already going to do that. Thanks
All
for
right, cool. Sorry,
for
I didn't
killing
mean
the
to ruin it.
surprise.
Don't do it.
All right, let's go.
It's okay.
Where are we going? For ice cream?
You guys ready? Actually, I'm going for ice cream afterward. Let's go.
I just had a homemade smoothie and it was delicious.
God bless us, everyone.
I might do that after the show.
All right,
Banana.
3.
All right.
Let's go.
Alan's going to do it with a banana after the show.
All
I'm
right.
gonna make a smoothie with the banana.
Banana sparkles. All right.
Uh,
You guys ready?
sprinkles.
Sprinkle. Ah.
Sprinkles.
3, 3, 2, 1, go.
This is Ancillary Characters, episode 112, hashtag Summer of John's.
Who are you?
Who are we?
And who are we dealing with?
Who the heck are you? Who do you think you are?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Who are these sick people?
And who are these two attractive young people?
Who are those guys?
It's the Ancillary Characters Podcast, the podcast of the website, ancillarycharacters.com. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Seth Breedlove. I'm joined by my three co-hosts from the state of Kentucky.
That would be Timothy Paul Shirley in the flesh.
Just gave away his first name.
What?
And from the state of Ohio.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Failing to say his name.
Hello. Howdy.
Classic Ethan. That's Ethan Breedlove, everyone. Give him a hand.
And from the state of North Carolina.
Kensington Allen Boone.
Kensington. That's a lie.
That would... I actually believed you for a second.
I wish that was true.
That would be a cool name.
It would be.
Alan, are you still doing your run club?
I am. I actually slept through it yesterday, but this morning I got up and I lifted the weights at the gym.
Okay, I thought you meant like you literally, like you were running and you were asleep while running.
Oh no! Like
Yeah, that would be
I
better.
fell asleep, and then somebody
better.
called me and said, "You coming?" I was like, "Oh, I slept," and then hung up. So they went ahead without me. I have no idea what I said. I've actually answered the phone and had a conversation before. I had no memory of it.
I remember you telling us about that.
Oh yeah, with your bank about Comixology.
Oh, that was a different one. I did remember that
Oh.
one. But this was me looking through my... I had a missed call and looked at it, and then below the missed call, I had a call that I'd totally taken at like 8 in the morning, and I had no memory of it. It's from my doctor.
What's that?
So this is something that happens with you.
Sometimes. But I'm getting a CPAP, and that should save me from all these problems.
Yeah, CPAP's. I mean, when I first saw that, I thought you were making a joke about a pap smear, and I was like,
Oh, no.
Oh gosh, you just said that while on the air. Are we going like?
I don't think I need one of those.
it's a normal thing. I just was confused as to why Alan would be getting one, because he doesn't have the proper.
Are you gonna go all Dale A on us and
He's a
start
man.
talking about your surgeries and stuff like that?
Ancillary Characters
that?
is
How
the
about the
podcast
anger?
of.
Is,
Ancillary Characters
bowels-
is the podcast of
bowels
the website,
effect.
ancillarycharacters.com. We talk about comic books and movies and AMC television shows and fast
AMC
food.
television shows.
Yeah, last week.
You were out,
Thanks
Paul.
for listening, Paul.
Yeah,
I actually
I told
downloaded
people
it and
your
planned on
secret.
listening today, and then I totally forgot.
We told people your secret last week.
Oh,
That is
gosh.
true.
I'm sure it was
you weren't
bogus. I'm sure it was bogus.
Nope.
I'm sure it was.
Nope.
Kensington. Sir Kensington Boone.
We sang Imagine Dragons, too.
That is
What?
true. That we did.
I miss all the good stuff.
Something about a prison bus.
Something chemicals.
Um,
Uh-oh.
Ethan, how are you?
Yeah. I'm fine. Today I had a nice visit with a client. We shared a good hearty laugh.
Uh-oh.
Yep. I asked him what he does for a living. He told me he was a barber. Said my grandfather was a barber. And then I leaned in real close. I did one of these jobbers. And I said, he cut the Elephant Man's hair. And this guy looked at me and he said, the Elephant Man was from England, or from the UK. And I was like, there are two Elephant Men.
I think what happened is that Grandpa cut someone's hair who had
It was an Elephant Man.
who had some sort of physical abnormality, and everyone in my
Alright.
family decided that he was the Elephant Man.
No, there was another Elephant Man because remember, Seth, one of the presidents, I can't remember who. It may have been President Lyndon B. Johnson. It may have been somebody else. Was driving in their motorcade through Canton, Ohio, and they saw the Elephant Man walking down the road, and he pulled over his motorcade. He picked up the Elephant Man and gave him a ride.
Again, I think it was just someone with a physical abnormality who everyone started calling the Elephant Man.
Labeled as the Elephant Man.
Alan is the Elephant Man, actually.
Yes.
Because of his uncanny
Was that
elephant impressions.
That
It
was.
is uncanny. Thought I was at the zoo. I mean, seriously.
I usually
He's wearing
think
an
I'm at
elephant
the
shirt,
zoo.
too.
It's not an elephant. It's a walrus.
He's got an elephant on his shirt, guys. He also
That
bought
is
a little,
walrus.
a small carving of an elephant.
Okay.
That's not true.
Paul.
Look, the Amazon description may have said walrus, but that's clearly an elephant on your shirt. I'm just saying.
Elephants don't have flippers.
Yes,
They
they do.
did before evolution took control
Oh yeah, all that crazy evolution
They
stuff.
6 billion years ago. Uh,
Too many people.
Paul, do we
And
have
some
a
weird numbers.
Paul? Do we have a letter?
Actually, I think that we do have a letter.
Yes.
This letter comes from friend of the show, avid letter writer and supporter of both this show and the show that the Elephant Man and I do together. It's called Turtle Jump. Andrew DiMarcangelo. He actually was a guest host on Turtle Jump not too long ago.
I remember that. That was cool.
Starlight Starbright. That's the name of his letter. Here's what it says. Best Internet Bros. On the last episode, Buck likened Starlight to Up and Pixar in general. Buck being Seth's alias on Twitter as Buck Breedlove in jest of Buck Williams?
It's a Buck something from
Buck
from,
Rogers?
from those stupid
Buck Williams from the Left Behind series?
stupid Left Behind series.
Let's not alienate our fans, Seth. Come on.
I don't think anyone's gonna be angry at me for calling the Left Behind series stupid.
I've read the Left Behind series. Some of
Nick
it.
Cage is in it.
Yeah, you're not selling.
But the books. Yeah, it was the books.
Okay.
I don't know anything about this Nick Cage movie mess. I was mid-thrust with some boyishly light weights doing incline flies at the time. And I swear,
Getting his
my
pump
yellow
on?
nylon shorts instantly shrunk 3 sizes. That
I
is
want everyone
unfortunate.
to picture.
Picture Andrew, a slim, fit, dark-haired man with glasses. I picture him. I mean, I've only seen him through the internet, online video chats. But he
Shorts
seems to be
receded up his rectum? Is that
seems to
what
be,
he's referring to here?
pretty thin. Some people even say wiry, maybe. Lifting those
Possibly
boyishly light weights.
Refugee-like body.
Sure, yeah. He looks like he
According
could
to
be
his
on like a
Twitter account,
40-day
he looks
fast.
like the Elephant Man.
He could be on a 40-day fast for all we know.
Yeah, that's true.
That's intense.
And so you're already looking at like what? Men's extra small shorts.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Maybe small.
He took him down to like a boy's size 2.
Right. And they shrink 3 sizes. So he's in the hospital. Our prayers are with you.
Yeah.
He says this.
Having the shorts surgically removed.
Surgically removed. They've actually fused with his skin. Kind of like when the Hulk goes.
He had to go through puberty.
He hulked out.
Now I'm picturing Andrew as the Hulk.
He hulked out.
But he's just like his same size, maybe even a little smaller.
Right. Instead of him hulking out, his clothes hulked down. It's the best letter ever, Andrew. All right. So he says, I can't remember the last time a comic recommendation piqued my interest so much. He's obviously a Pixar fan. If you want to know more about that, we talked about it, I think, in our 100th episode. Is that when we talked about we fought about Pixar, or was it before then?
It was.
I don't know.
I think it was then.
He was on the show. I've still yet to read the first issue, but I plan to this weekend. If it's half as good as the masterpiece that is Up, the movie, the Pixar film, I'll owe Seth and Miller a great debt. Keep doing what you're doing, Andrew.
Yeah, I have to say, I compare the first issue of Starlight to Up, and I still think it very much feels like a Pixar movie. But having said that, this is Mark Miller, so it could fall apart at any
moment.
Yep.
And we're all just waiting for that to happen.
I'm waiting for it to happen because we're 4 issues in, and I'm still loving it.
I think I've only read the first 3 issues.
It's unlike anything Miller has done. I would compare it to I mean, it's got that same kind of all ages friendly. Aside from one panel, it's
in the third issue.
Yeah. It's entirely all ages friendly. There's no swearing. There's no. I mean, it's not Miller like at all.
I'm expecting it to just go like full saga halfway through.
I'm expecting it to become Kick-A and like the lead character's tied up and they're electrocuting him by the testes or something.
Right. I'm okay with some things. Testes. I can understand it gets to a point and maybe there's going to be some brute violence. There's no reason to make it just absolutely NC-17. Mark, come on, Mark, keep it up.
Come on, Mark, what are you doing, man? Get out of the NRA.
Stick with what you got. Yeah. Just stick with what you got going on here.
That was a joke.
The Nerd Revolution Act.
Quit forcing people to wear tiny shorts, tiny yellow shorts.
Yeah, what's up with this?
Maybe Tesla learned his lesson.
Andrew didn't want to wear those. Why did you make him do it?
Yeah.
Mark.
Yeah, Mark.
Millar.
Is it Millar or Miller?
I don't know. Who knows?
Do you think that was the noise he made when the shorts shrunk?
Millar. It just progressively got higher and higher until you couldn't hear it anymore, and the dogs were barking outside.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
My dog literally started barking as soon as you said that. That was freakish.
Literally. Hey guys, friends, listeners. I don't know what these guys subjected you to last week when I wasn't around, because I haven't gone back and listened yet, because I suck.
Yeah.
But this is the segment we call What's Up with Paul. And this is where I, Paul, tell you what's up in the world of comics, in the world of pop culture. Let's start off with a little something close to my heart. I'm at work the other day, and I get a text from a friend of mine, and he says, "Have you seen the new Turtles trailer?" And I'm like, Turtles. Some people would probably think, what the crap are Turtles, right? What kind of Turtles trailer is this? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There's a new trailer. The Michael Bay produced Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film, which has been faced with, you could say, some skepticism from the fans and from the media, particularly based around those early reports that they were going to be aliens and not from this earth and not mutants, and they weren't going to be teenagers and blah, blah, blah. Megan Fox's April. Michael Bay's involved, and it's doomed, all that stuff.
Blah, blah, blah.
And that first trailer didn't really show much. It was more of just kind of a tease. We kind of saw the turtles a little bit, and people were like, what's with their faces? They look too weird in the face, like people or something. Well, now we have a real trailer. This is what I would really consider the first true trailer to the film.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys all see it?
I did.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Ethan?
No.
Oh, classic Ethan.
Yep. Hey, Ethan, we expected no less.
Can I tell you what I thought of it?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, drop it in.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
I don't know what that has to do
No, me neither, but I love it.
with anything. I liked it.
Me too.
I really liked it. I thought they looked great. I thought the CG looked awesome. I told Paul I couldn't tell at times if they were like actual costumes that they had made or CGI, and the faces really came to life.
Yeah.
We still haven't. I still feel like we haven't really seen them move. Like we have, but we haven't.
It's been really fast.
Yeah, I want to see them. I want to see how they capture that ninja part of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and see.
I don't want it to all
Maybe you
be
just
too
won't
so
see
fast
them
you can't
the
see what's going
entire
on.
movie. No, they'll just be gone. You won't see them. They'll be in
Because they're
hiding.
ninjas.
They're hiding.
Because they're ninjas.
They're gone full ninja.
Yep.
But I liked it. I thought the trailer was good.
Yeah.
Do you know who's doing Splinter's voice? I just saw that on the tubes.
Yeah, it's the guy from Monk.
Shaloub.
Yep.
Shaloub's doing it.
And Seth
I'm
Green
surprised it's
is
not
Leonardo.
Shia LaBeouf.
No, Seth Green isn't Leonardo.
Who's Leonardo? Seth Green is someone.
Seth Green is Leonardo in the cartoon.
Why didn't they have
They
him? Why didn't they have him do it in the movie?
That would have been awesome.
I'd have been down with that.
I had a dream that I went to see the new movie, and it was all the trailers and stuff were fake, and it was just a really awesome movie of the cartoon.
So you don't like? What did you think of the trailer, Alan?
I liked the trailer. I thought it was cool, and it had some humor, and the
Yeah.
thing with so they're aliens. No, that's stupid.
Yeah.
That made me lol, which is LOL
Yeah.
spelled out or
Right.
pronounced. So
Thank you.
anyway, I enjoyed it. I thought it looked good, and I'm a little more excited for the movie now.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm going to be there opening night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's no chance that wasn't going to happen ever. But this trailer has increased my anticipation because it actually looks really cool. I agree with Seth. The CG looks awesome on the Turtles. I really like the designs. I think they did a good job with Raph. They seem to focus on him a lot in this trailer, I think, maybe more than the others. He looks really, hardcore. He looks like a bad dude. You know what I'm saying?
He's bulkier than the rest of them too. I think the only one whose face throws me off is Leonardo's. Everyone else I think looks awesome. Leo's face is a little something about it throws me off, but I mean I'm sure once I'm watching it. Yeah, the fact is we've all grown up probably loving Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so
Right.
any time you see them in live action, it's odd. I mean,
Yeah,
and
it is.
honestly, they have to stack up to that original movie from the 90s or late 80s or whenever that was. Late 80s, right? 89?
I think it might have been like 1990 or something.
Okay. Well,
Could have been.
those costumes have aged really, really well.
I agree.
And they still have to stack up to that.
Yeah,
I have a
that
question for
first
you.
movie's great. Go ahead.
I know you didn't plan on doing more than this, Paul, but is it true
Yeah,
about
that's not
Pacific Rim 2?
I haven't heard anything about this.
That's just a Bleeding Cool firmed.
What's that?
It is.
Bleeding Cool's saying that Pacific Rim 2 is locked in, and that there's also going to be a Pacific Rim cartoon going alongside it, like an actual cartoon series.
When
Interesting.
people say bleeding confirmed, are they actually giving it credence, or
No.
are they saying that tongue in cheek?
Bleeding Cool is wrong 80% of the time, just like Ain't It Cool and
That's not true. 80%'s a high number.
70%.
Yeah, but they don't usually come right out and say, "Oh, this is a fact." You know, with something like that, a lot of times they will say,
I'm talking movie news specifically. Like,
"Yeah, that's
if you
probably
count all the times that they're claiming that someone's been cast as a Jedi or someone's playing Ben
Right.
Affleck's Batman, Robin, whatever.
right."
I was cast as a Jedi by myself.
I cast myself.
No. Speaking of Bleeding Cool, let me try and get this.
You're
out.
speaking as them?
Yeah.
Speaking of Bleeding Cool, they've been running some rumors lately about this upcoming DC event next year, which they have entitled the DC Comics Band-Aid. You guys see anything about this?
Yes.
Is that the thing
Basi-
they're rebooting?
Yeah, basically what they're rumoring is that next year DC is going to run a big event, like a big 2-month weekly event. And they're calling it the Band-Aid. They don't have a name for it, but basically it's going to be pre-52 characters. It's going to take us back to the pre-New 52 DC universe, and I don't think that they're claiming that it's going to be, getting rid of the New 52, but rather that this is like the bridge that they're going to run while they're moving from New York to California.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the way I understand it is it's an event that has the old 52, or whatever you want to call it, the old DCU, the old continuity classic DC characters, telling stories with those characters again. Maybe just a big event, and some other rumors say it's going to involve the New 52 people. Some of it say it's going to be completely separate from New 52, or that there's going to be a couple of people. I don't know. You guys think this is true? You think this is something that's going to happen?
I don't know.
Is this something that you'd want to happen?
I don't know.
I
Oh, my
don't.
goodness.
I don't. There's no way DC goes back to the original 52 and doesn't make themselves look like fools.
Right.
And I think for half the company or half the creative staff on these books, probably more than that, they would love to go back to the original 52. Mostly because they've blown it so bad with the new 52. And also, Jeff Johns loves the old 52. I don't care what he says in interviews. I know for a fact, and by a fact, I mean I am 100% assuming that he
Right.
would love to go back to the old 52. He spent the entire bulk of his career up till now making past continuity a part of, making it all make sense and putting everything together, and to have it all pulled out from under him. And I hate going off on tangents about the new 52 now because it's been going on for the last 2 years. But the new 52 was a great idea that was executed long term anyway. It was executed really poorly. I mean, I still love. I've actually just yesterday I went back and reread our early reviews of those first waves of comics that I put on the Ancillary Characters website, and that was so much fun reading all those opening issues and everything. And they had such an opportunity there, and it was just squandered through horrible editorial decisions and weird. I mean, pushing people like Gail Simone off of books and losing half the creative people that made that company what it is to begin with. Where was Mark Waid? I mean, see, I'm going to get into it again because I don't know what to think of Dan Didio anymore because I've always liked him, and as a guy that runs a company, and
that's what I mean. Isn't he technically called the editor-in-chief?
Maybe, Paul. Do you always have to be right?
No, I was just trying to.
You're always right.
And you're always taken, Paul.
That's all I do.
That's true. Alan's right. No, anyway, I just if they bring back the old 52, I just can't see Dan Didio swallowing enough pride to do that. On the other hand, it makes a certain amount of sense considering the fact that the rumor is that Johns really is not 100% sold on this new 52 thing to this day, and that him and Didio have gone back and forth on this. So it'd be interesting if Didio isn't relenting because he's going to be in the same office building as Johns now.
Yeah, I understand.
I think they should wrestle.
I think it's. Go ahead, Alan. I couldn't hear you.
I think they should wrestle for it.
You think so?
MMA competition between Johns and Didio.
Johns would totally think.
In a wading pool full of Jello.
Exactly. They could do American Gladiators.
Dangerous shorts.
Yeah.
Bleeding Coal posted an article. They posted an article quoting a DC creator. Who knows who that is? So they couldn't say their name. So whatever take this as you will, with as much salt as you'd like. But basically, they were talking about this, and they said that as of now, this story they're talking about, still in the works. It's intended to be in continuity and not like an Elseworlds story, because that's what a lot of people are thinking, is that maybe it's just going to be this big Elseworlds set in the old 52 or the pre-52 universe. They're saying it's not. It's going to be in continuity, and they're saying it has nothing to do with the Anti-Monitor. And something that's interesting is in the comment he said that many in editorial were completely surprised when Jeff brought back the Anti-Monitor at the end of Forever Evil, and some didn't know about it until the issue was printed. That's kind of funny to me.
Shows a lot about the stability of that company.
Well,
I don't think so. I think it just shows Jeff Johns. I mean, they let him do that. You know what I'm saying? That he probably wanted to kind of keep some of it under wraps. And he's the CCO of the company?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if anybody's got the right to do it, I'm sure that Dan Didio knew about it, and whoever was working with him specifically as the editor on that book. But
Hmm.
I don't know.
That's
Maybe it's
interesting.
an insurrection.
Hey, speaking of Jeff Johns, though.
Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of Take It or Leave It. That's the segment where we review books, and in this segment, we're going to be talking about 3, that is, 1, 2, 3, but not 4, just 3, maybe more, but probably just 3, Jeff Johns books. So, starting out, for the Summer of Johns, Infinite Crisis. Written, of course, by Jeff Johns, and penciled by Phil Jimenez, George Perez, Jerry
Yes.
Ordway,
Jorge
Ivan
Pere.
Reese, these guys. So and they drew it. And
Jimenez,
Jimenez, like
or we like to refer to him as Jiminy. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
yeah. So this book, to set the stage, the world has lost confidence in its heroes. Superman has failed to hold the Justice League together. The satellite, the Watchtower, has been destroyed. Batman has been spying, and his spy satellite, Brother Eye, was hijacked by a rogue organization and used for evil purposes. Wonder Woman killed a man to save lives, but still, it was broadcast to the whole world. And the hero community is full of discord and strife. The world is in chaos.
Just killed a man.
Just to watch him die. So, the world has lost confidence in its heroes and is descending in chaos. And 3 onlookers from outside the universe watch in horror. Alexander Luthor of Earth 3, Superboy Prime of Earth Prime, and Superman of Earth 2. Look on at the world that they sacrificed their own worlds to save in Crisis on Infinite Earths and decide that this world has had its chance and they are coming to fix things. And so the chaos just continues to grow. Corruption, violence, in the world, in the cosmos. Oa has been moved, just insanity. Who is behind all of this? And why? Other Earths appearing in the sky? So yeah,
Wow.
that's all I'm going to say for now, because I could spoil the ending, but we'll do that later.
Right. That's what we do.
Yeah, I rhymed.
You did.
I did. Wrote a poem.
Infinite Crisis. This Phil Jimenez guy, he's got skill.
He's got mad skill, yo.
And this Geoff Johns,
JJ, as I call him.
It's G.
it's GJ. I know you don't call him that. Get real.
I hope you don't call him that.
All right, I want to go first. Can I go first?
Yeah.
All right, I want to go first. So this is one of the books that I read originally when I was playing catch up on DC continuity. I started buying into Comics Monthly, and it was the Green Lantern mostly, as it was heading into like Blackest Night and stuff, and I just started just powering through books. And when I actually got to Infinite Crisis, I read Crisis on Infinite Earths and read some other stuff between there and Infinite Crisis, and then I read a bunch of Justice League books, and then I got to Infinite Crisis and I read all of the tie-ins, which are what? What are the tie-ins? You've got the Secret Six book.
I have.
What was that called?
I have the
Villains
omnibus right here. So you got
All right.
Ram Thanagar War.
Mhm.
You've got, if you're talking about the miniseries, you got Ram
Yeah.
Thanagar War, OMAC Project, Villains United, And
The magic one. What's the
the
magic
magic
one?
one. Crud. What is? I have a
Day of Vengeance.
Day of
Day of
Vengeance.
Vengeance.
And then you've also got
Got
because
that special.
you've got tie-ins running across multiple books. You had a major tie-in that ran across Superman and Wonder Woman that if you didn't read, you actually missed a huge plot point.
Talking about with Maxwell Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the prequel, basically, to Infinite Crisis. And then there was that one shot, that Infinite Crisis one shot.
Yeah.
That what was it like for $1? It was like a 100-page special or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, was that
With the
one
Blue
with
Beetle.
Booster Gold?
Yeah. DC Countdown. It was called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the one with the Blue Beetle where he's trying to convince everyone that there's something going on.
Yep.
And he fails.
There was also the Donna Troy miniseries, which really didn't have anything to do with Infinite Crisis, but it was considered one of the lead-ins.
Yeah, I read that.
I forget what it was called, but they didn't even include that in the omnibus, which has everything.
So I read all of those in the order that they went. I looked it up online, what order to read them in. I read it all. And this event like blew my stinking mind when I was reading it. Jeff Johns put together a story on the scale of Crisis on Infinite Earths, only better. Like this is absolutely a sequel to Crisis on Infinite Earths. I mean, it's a follow-up. 20 years later almost. Without Crisis on Infinite Earths, this book doesn't exist.
Yeah, I want to build on that a little bit, not to hijack your...
No, go ahead.
I feel like this is a sequel to the entirety of continuity before this point. I mean, it ties in directly to Identity Crisis. All those tie-ins you just mentioned were big. Everything that you read in the DC universe leading up to this just fits so perfectly. It's a culmination of all that they had been preparing in this.
Yeah, I've always felt like this and Final Crisis, I mean, this is a perfect, not so perfect jumping on point, but a perfect introduction to the universe. If you haven't, I mean, I read this in that first year when I was getting into comics, and this came out, and this was the first huge event that I bought monthly, and it was the most, it did the best job of any event I've read since of making me just hyper excited every week. Not just every month for a new issue of Infinite Crisis, but every week there was some sort of tie-in going on, and they were all so good. Those miniseries that were coming out were great, and Ethan will probably back me up on that because I remember Villains United blew me away. I had never read a story with any of those characters before, and being introduced to like the Catman and all those characters, like those crazy.
Catman was so cool.
Yeah, those B-list characters, and they were awesome. And OMAC Project, and the level of talent that was at DC at that point, it was on those tie-in miniseries. You had
Gail Simone.
Gail Simone writing Villains United. You had Jim Starlin, and oh shoot, I forget. On Ranth Thanagar War anyway. Ivan Rice was drawing Ranth Thanagar War. You had Greg Rucka doing OMAC Project. And you had, holy crap, Bill Willingham. That's what it was. Bill Willingham was writing the Day of Vengeance mini. And then you know, obviously the Countdown issue was written by Winnick and Johns and Rucka. And all those guys had some sort of input into the event.
Right. This was a big deal. And when I was trying to catch up on DC continuity, honestly, this book with the tie-ins did a better job of introducing me to the DC universe as a whole than anything else I read. I mean, it covers the entire universe. Characters from 20 years ago make an appearance in this, you know, and like Alan said, it really does tie together everything from Crisis on Infinite Earths up to now. it's the payoffs for so much of what they've been doing throughout that time, and it's done in a way that only Johns can do it. This was the first time I'd read it without reading all that stuff. I think this is only the second time I've actually read the series, and man, Johns is a beast. Like, I don't know how he pulls this off. How do you remember all this stuff? How do you manage to bring it all together? He's like a DC Comics encyclopedia, and he makes each character that has lines carry weight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you don't even have to know the characters to care about them. This was one of the first things I read when I first started getting into comics. It was well after it was released. It was at least 2 or 3 years after. But I was reading it. I'd never heard of the what's the name of the group that's Sam, Uncle Sam, and
The
Freedom Fighters.
Freedom Fighters. I'd never heard of them. I was like, who are these people? But whenever, spoilers, they get mercilessly slaughtered, I felt bad for them.
Yeah.
And I mean, even not knowing these characters, if you know these characters, there's an extra special something there for you. But if you don't know them, it still gets the point across that something big is going down. You know that the whole world is falling apart by the way these heroes are just strategically taken out by this, not crime syndicate, secret society.
Yeah.
They're just getting their ends handed to them.
And the secret society thing, it almost plays through in the background. I mean, that first issue, it's prominent. And then after that, it's, you just kind of seen it peppered throughout. And Johns does a great job of teasing you and giving you big reveal after big reveal.
Yeah.
In that first issue, he teases you with, you see the silhouette of the people like watching almost like through a TV screen. And then you think you get it figured out, and then every time, he'll throw a big reveal out at the end of a page, or, something happens. And he really takes the stakes in this book to new levels, and there's so many nods to all these characters and everything. But the best thing to me about it, or one of the best things about it, is how he manages to make you care about each of these characters who you don't really care about that much. Like, one of the most heartfelt scenes in the book, and this is a spoiler. I mean, this book's 10 years old? But this is a spoiler, is, when Superman of Earth 2 and his Lois Lane wind up on their Earth and she dies there. Like, it's heart-wrenching.
Well, that's one of the biggest. We talked about it, I think, Alan and I, or when did we talk about Forever Evil?
Sometime. I don't
Okay,
remember.
good. Sometime, at some point, we talked about Forever Evil, and I always said that Johns is amazing at writing moments, like getting to these amazing little moments. And this thing's full of them. Huge moments. My favorite is the final fight with Superboy Prime and Superboy, and what happens with Superboy, and the way that when Superboy ends up giving his life, and the way that all plays out, and the way that scene ends with what's her face? What's the girl's name? Cassie. Laying on top of him, and he's dead, and he's laying on the ground, and he looks like Superman.
Yeah.
From the Death of Superman issue.
Oh, gosh. There are a lot of throwbacks like that, like the scene where Superman from Earth 2 hits Superman from Earth 1 with the car.
Yeah.
It's just like the cover.
And that's exactly right. It's that iconic cover of Superman catching the car, but he's slamming it into the other Superman. That's great.
Yeah. And too, the interplay, we see the true birth of a villain here. Somebody who we assumed to be good at the start. And he was good in Crisis on Infinite Earths. We see how he just goes mental. And he just wants to talk to Connor, and then he has a breakdown and ends up punching somebody's head off. The first time I saw that, whenever I was reading this book, I was like, what? What just happened?
Yeah.
And just violently starts murdering and saying, you made me do this, you made me do this. Then he just crumples under what he did and says, I'm going to save the world, and nobody's going to know what I had to do to save it. And man, this guy's evil.
This book is hilariously violent too.
It is.
The part with the psycho pirate.
No more
Yeah.
silly faces.
Yeah.
Wow, what a scene! That's one of the best scenes in the book too.
Yeah, Black Adam just disintegrating that guy's head.
Yeah, and then Power Girl says, "Was that really necessary?" He's like, "Absolutely."
Ethan, do you have something to say?
Well, Paul was saying that there's touching moments. For me, that was the most heartfelt moment of the book. Was when Black Adam decided to do the old Three Stooges yoink yoink to Psycho Pirate and blast his face mask out of the back of his skull. But the way John writes, he writes really like a cinema, almost like a screenplay plays out in a movie, because he won't follow one direct line through a story. You'll have scenes from different stories interspliced together, and through that he tells a whole story, and it's really interesting in the way he does that. And it also it's really like it keeps you on the edge of your seat, almost like well, I was gonna say that movie Memento, but that's told in reverse. So, but the way it'll jump from one scene to the next, and you here's a good example, like Lord of the Rings, the books, how those are written, where you want to know what's going on at one spot, but you have to deal with reading this other part of the story till you get back to that, and then you get back to that, and you're like, well, I wonder what's going on back where I just was. That's what Johns is really good at in the way he tells stories.
Right.
From the first issue, with the death of the freedom fighters, I remember that was one of the most pivotal opening scenes to a major event, in the way that he killed them, and he didn't just like mercilessly murder them. It was he told their story, and he showed their heart, and he let you feel the pain that they were going through. And also you had, in that opening scene, you didn't just have heroes dying, you also had villains, which is something that is sprinkled throughout this book. I mean, even in the final fight, when Superboy is being like he's angry at everybody, and he's just running through villains and heroes alike, murdering everybody.
Yeah.
Which is, that's one of the reasons why I said on the last Summer of John's that like that's one of the reasons as a villain I really enjoy reading him, because he's so silly. Like he's just an idiot, and he's fun to read. Especially he's like apologetically murdering people. I'm sorry, I just murdered you. I didn't mean to do it. But it's like a little kid holding up a gun. It's like he doesn't know what he's doing. The story is just fantastically written, in the way it'll tell old DC history, and then even add in new characters, in the way it brought in like a person I'm not really a huge fan of with the new Blue Beetle, but the way they brought him in and made you actually it made you interested in the character, which was pretty cool for a big event to actually have new characters starting out. And sometimes they do that and you could care less, but the way they made his story, I thought it was cool. The other good thing about Johns is where was I going with that? Poopy.
All right.
I had a brain fart.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
I think you're right, though. Superboy Prime, I've always thought he was one of the more annoying villains. Mm-hmm. But I don't mean that in a bad way. Not like, oh, I hate this villain. But like he's made to grate on your nerves. And this book shows that turning point. He's he thinks that he's right, and he's really not a bad kid. He's just kind of twisted up inside. He doesn't really understand. I mean, if you think about it, he's been locked behind a wall for 20 years. And then he breaks free, and he just starts accidentally killing people because he's not used to the power that this son is giving him and everything. But then when the Flashes take him into the Speed Force and he comes back out in that armor, he is a twisted psychopath.
Well, he is, because he's been gone for 3 years in a red sun. Which, if I remember correctly, when Johns was writing this story, he was actually in charge of all DC books, and he was orchestrating the entire event. So everything that Willingham and what's her name?
Gail Simone.
Feminazi lady. Yeah, Gail Simone. and the others that were writing books, they had to go through him to make sure the story congealed with his overall story, which is great, and the tie-ins are just fantastic. I think one of the best-selling, or one of my favorite scene of the book, and I know you guys will have yours, and I'm curious to hear yours as well, but my favorite scene of the book is in the second book. Joker's running around talking to villains, and he's like, why haven't I been asked to join? And then in the final page, Alexander Luthor is trying to hide in Gotham, and he gets sprayed in the face with acid, and the Joker kills, saying your main mistake was not one of your biggest mistakes was taking advantage of me, but your main mistake was not asking the Joker to be part of this, and that makes you dumb. That was one of my favorite parts in the whole story. But there's others. There's others as well, like how Seth was saying, he just does moments really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The art. We got to talk about the art before we move on. We have to move on. The art by Phil Jimenez is awesome. There's also art from the covers. The alternate covers by Jim Lee are great.
Gorgeous.
George Perez actually did a lot of art here, a lot of the art in this book, as well as, and I've been trying to find this guy's name in my book, but I can't find it. Does anyone know who the other guy is? He's an older artist.
Ordway?
Jerry Ordway.
Jerry Ordway. Jerry Ordway did actually a lot of work here, especially in the omnibus, is credited to George Perez, and it's Jerry Ordway. I don't know why the omnibus literally makes no mention of him that I can find. But Ordway did more work in the book than Perez even did. But Perez's stuff in here is great. And I remember toward the end, Jimenez fell off, and those guys really stepped up and helped, kind of like how Monkey did with Final Crisis.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I found highly enjoyable when you mentioned the art was when Alexander starts pulling all the worlds, and he's using them as a petri dish. He says to find his favorite one, or Earth Prime. There's a big splash page of alternate Earths, and there's one that just looks fantastically hilarious, and that's Earth 898 with the Alamo scene.
Oh my gosh!
You guys see this on page? It should be like around page 160 something. But there's a scene with all these cowboys and Indians fighting on the Alamo.
Yeah. Is that got what's his name with the messed up face?
Jonah Hex.
Oh yeah.
Jonah Hex.
Also has the Ride Kid. And who else is in there? Yeah,
that was a great
scene.
So
Diablo.
Let's wrap this up. Great book. One of our favorites, obviously, team favorite.
I think that I rated this as my favorite event when we did our event episode back in the day.
Mm.
Yeah, this is by far.
What was your favorite scenes, guys?
What?
What was your favorite scenes? Like one scene you could pick out.
There's so many.
Just one.
I already said I like the Superboy.
I liked whenever the two Supermans team up on Superboy. I mean,
Yeah.
really, the biggest part to me was just the dialogue in throughout the book had so much punch.
Yeah.
And in this one, what Superman says there, it's like he said, it's not about where you were born. It's not about the symbol on your chest. It's about what you do. It's about action. And
Yeah.
as he's finishing off Superboy Prime and collapsing himself,
Yeah.
and that whole scene, that battle, and the way it ends with Superman from Earth 2 lying there in a crumpled heap, talking to Kara and saying, "We did it. Superman beat Superboy or saved the day or something like that." It's just so good.
Yeah. For me, it'd probably be the scenes with Superman from Earth 2, with Lois, and where she dies, and where he lashes out against Superman, and where he kind of comes to the realization, basically his story, his thread through it, his scene with Batman, all that stuff.
Yeah, I love the line in that scene you're talking about with the two Supermen. You, Earth 2 isn't a perfect world because a perfect world doesn't need Superman.
That's right.
Dialogue.
Great
man.
line.
That's John's right there.
We love you, Johns.
We love you so much.
Superman number 32. This is
Oh,
written
yes.
by Jeff Johns with art by John Romita Jr. And this just hit this week. This is, well, I'm just going to say it. But this should have been in the New 52. This should have launched the New 52.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, it is sad to me that we're on issue 32 and they're just now getting this team together and launching what is one of the best first issues I've seen out of DC in years.
Yeah. And it is a first issue. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it takes away everything that's happened beforehand. Clark gets hired back at the Daily Planet.
Mm-hmm.
It's an origin story of this new character. It's a first issue.
And as I was reading it, and I think it's obviously because it's John Romita Jr., the book this reminded me of the most was the Romita Jr. J. Michael Straczynski Spider-Man, and obviously leaving out some of the goofy, magical aspects of Straczynski's Spider-Man. What Straczynski's Spider-Man run did so well was get to the characters. The character beats and the character building was awesome on J. Michael Straczynski's Amazing Spider-Man, and it was complemented so well by J.R.'s art. And this, I mean, there is a lot of action in this comic, but we get page after page of character work with Clark that we have not seen in the New 52 outside of. I mean, I loved Grant Morrison's Action Comics, but this is definitely the best Superman I've seen since everything relaunched.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And Romita Jr.'s art is top freaking notch in this book. Like, it feels right. I wasn't sure how I'd feel about it. I love JR, but everything I've ever read by him is Marvel, and so I wasn't sure what it would be like. It feels like DC. It doesn't look like a Marvel book. It looks like a DC book. And the way Johns writes Clark, the way Johns writes Jimmy Olsen in those scenes with him and Perry White.
That's the best Jimmy Olsen I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, why have we had to wait so long for this? I mean, I feel like a giddy kid when I'm reading this. This is the Superman book that we've been waiting for since the New 52 started. And you're exactly right. Why didn't they get this out as a number one? I don't know. But I love this book. I love it.
Before Andrew has another Hulk out and his clothes shrink, I want to mention Laura Martin, the colorist, and Klaus Janson, the inker, because obviously they play a great part in JR.
And the colors are gorgeous.
The colors are amazing.
Some of the best colors.
Yeah,
the best.
I don't. This compares to me anyway. This is as good as Cap in Dimension Z was in terms of visuals.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's different. Very different. Much more bright colored, but beautiful.
Right. Ethan, I want to know what you thought.
I think John Romita Jr. like earlier on in his early stuff, we liked it because it was like niche-y, like nobody else drew him like he did, kind of like Lemire is. Nobody draws like Lemire except Lemire.
Yeah.
And then like 50 other people suddenly draw like him.
I was gonna
the way
hold on. I gotta mention the call out to a rival quote unquote podcast, the Fight for Comics podcast. Did you ever hear the episode where they were talking about how Jeff Lemire draws, and I think it was Sean Black said it's like he dips his hair in ink and then he's just waving it around.
Wow.
Well, that's how Romita Jr. was back in the day. Like he was, it's like Frank Miller. You know, it's odd to look at, but you liked it because it was like unlike anything you've seen. And I think over the past year, and maybe more, Romita Jr. has just become this beautiful artist, and now, like it's so much eye candy and appealing to you that you can't but love it. I mean, it's amazing to look at, especially on this book. When I mean, Dimension Z for the most part, it's darker colors and it's more like different colors that our eyes aren't used to, with like neon colors and stuff like that, where they're drawing the monsters. I mean, this we see sunlight and shading, and that goes more to his colorist, but at the same time, this team together is like it's fantastic to look at. I thought the story itself was pretty good. Like you guys were saying, Jimmy Olsen was fun to follow. Like I don't know if the story has been going on a lot longer because I haven't been reading it.
I'd
like,
never heard this before this issue.
Me neither.
But it interests me. Like I wanted to know more about it. So
did I.
With the first few panels with the husband and wife, I thought we were actually seeing baby Mixelplix because they kept saying they were sending him to the fourth dimension, and that's where Mixelplix is from.
Well, he's from the fifth
correct?
dimension, right?
Fifth dimension. Okay.
And we've already seen him. We've already seen him in Grant Morrison's action.
Right, but you know, I can see why you'd think that.
I hadn't thought of that. I loved that
neither.
Scene. I
Me
loved
too.
the way that played
It
out.
was great.
Yeah, where they were. It was kind of like an homage to Superman being shot off of Krypton.
Yeah.
But I like the way the character identified with Superman as being the last of his kind, and he thought Earth was completely destroyed, and he said he was just like Superman. He's not alone, or he's the last son of Earth, and he's not whatever. But anyways, I thought it was highly enjoyable.
Alan?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. This is the best Superman I've seen since I've started buying issues. It's the best Superman issue I've seen. Not counting stuff I've read on digital or trade. That's back issues. The backstory was good. The character beats were good. I loved how he drew the action where Superman looked like a blur. Yeah. And even the cover was really awesome. Like I was looking at the front of the cover and I was like, why is Superman halfway off the cover? Why are there two Supermen? And then I flipped it over the back. I said, oh, that's really cool. Because it shows Clark Kent transforming into Superman. Or undressing.
I want a poster.
Yes.
Undressing? He's slowly undressing on the cover.
Undressing. He's wearing Andrew shorts.
Very, very quickly undressing. He's a fast.
He's in his bedroom.
He's in his tiny
off his work shirt.
Yellow shorts.
I gotta say, one of my favorite scenes is where Clark is in his apartment.
Yeah.
And he's cooking.
Yep.
And it's showing like what's going on with everyone else in his life.
That reminded me more than anything of Superman for All Seasons. Like that scene right out of Superman for All Seasons.
Yeah, that's such a good scene. I'm so excited for this book. Like when New 52 started, I went out and I bought this series, Superman #1, and I followed it for like 20 issues before I finally cut it off because I wanted so bad for there to be a great Superman title, and I feel like we're finally getting that here. So here's hoping it sticks with it, and I have faith in Johns.
I have faith in Johns. We have to move on. Justice League #31, written by Jeff Johns, drawn by Doug Mahnke. This is a direct fallout of Forever Evil, and it's one of the best issues of Justice League, and this is absurd because it's like this entire episode has just been kissing John's butt. But
It has.
If only we could. Am I right, guys?
Yes, exactly right.
This issue was
John,
amazing.
come to Ohio, and I'll kiss your butt.
Stop! This issue was amazing from the first page until the last page reveal.
Complete the circuit from Kentucky to North Carolina to Ohio. Well, I'll kiss your butt, John.
Summer of kissing John's butt.
Okay. So,
Okay.
this just came out this week, so I feel I feel like we can't spoil it, which stinks because to really get into why this issue is so great, we'd need to talk plot points.
Well, you know what we should do? We should just do a old school water cooler. End the show, do the run out, play the music, and if you want to hear us talk about this issue, do it after. That way they can bail if they don't want to spoil it.
I don't know, man. That sounds, I'm running out of time here. I'm just not
We're
sure
at
if
an
I'm going to
hour.
be able
It's
to
no
do that.
less, it's no more time.
Ancillary Characters, the podcast of the website, ancillarycharacters.com. You can find us on the web at ancillarycharacters.com. You can find me on Twitter at Ancillary Tweets. You can find me personally on Twitter at Seth Breeds Love. Paul's on Twitter at JollyGram5. Alan's on Twitter at Kalen Boone. Ethan's on Twitter at Bazooka_Bob. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/Ancillary Characters. Go there, leave us a comment. We haven't updated.
All those extra S's?
There's also an Ancillary Tweets, Ancillary Characters Instagram at the Ancillary Characters with underscores in between each word. We'll be back next week. Summer of John's rolls on with, what is it, Teen Titans?
Teen Titans.
Oh.
Action Comics.
Action Comics.
Action
Okay,
Comics.
The Last Sun. And if you're still with us, we're going to talk about Justice League. Because,
Spoil it.
yeah, let's spoil it. We're going to talk about it. So,
Yeah,
Ethan,
this
did
is
you
all
read
we're
this
gonna
issue?
talk
No.
Oh,
I didn't
darn.
get to.
Oh, darn.
Work week.
Alan, talk about that. Can you synopsize this for us real quick?
Yeah. So on the cover, it says the new power ring. Will she save our world or destroy it? But we don't get to that to the end. So we see Lex Luthor approaching. I mean, we get to it at the beginning, but then it really only pays off in the end.
Honestly, as soon as it started playing out, I was laughing.
Yes.
Just the way this ring is written, it's so obnoxious and kind of evil.
It's a jerk.
It's
Yeah.
It's not just evil, it's a jerk.
Yeah, it's the bizarro Green Lantern ring, and that's hilarious.
Oh yeah, and it's like creepy. It's like like a serial killer sneaking up on somebody, trying to convince this girl that they can destroy the world together. And she shoots it with a shotgun, and then it like takes over her. We see a close up of her eyes. She's sobbing, and the ring's like right in front of her face, and then she's screaming. Then it cuts to Bruce Wayne, talking to Lex Luthor in his study. And Lex is like, I know you're Batman. And, Bruce does this whole spiel. I don't know.
Playing it coy. I'm not Batman. What are you talking about?
Yeah. And then there's like an amazing interchange between the two. Luthor pulls a gun on him. Alfred pulls a gun on Luthor. Love that scene.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Alfred's the best.
Alfred just getting up in
Yes.
his face.
Yeah.
And
oh my gosh.
then Luthor blows up the grandfather clock that hides the Batcave, and so Batman can't hide it anymore. We'll then cut to the Justice League satellite. You got Cyborg and Shazam keeping watch, and they're talking about, this is boring, but it's necessary.
Oh my gosh.
And Shazam's like, I want to help you with my magic, and suddenly, ping pong table.
I literally laughed out loud in that panel because I'm doing guided view. This book is perfect for guided view, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Like this issue plays out like an episode of a TV show or something.
Yeah.
And you're guiding through it, and then you see Shazam. He's like, "Powers of Shazam, show me what you want for the League, Alakazam." And then lightning strikes. And next panel, it's just Cyborg and Shazam looking at a ping pong table, and it's like made of gold.
It says lightning bolt on it.
I'm literally cracking up out loud as
And
I'm
Shazam. We might as well play since it's here.
Yeah.
It's perfect for the character that Johns has made him.
It really is. Oh man.
He's a kid in a grown man's muscular body.
Yes.
Uh,
Just you can keep going.
So then we see Leonard Snart going up to LexCorp.
And as someone that loves Len Snart and Captain Cold, this is a great 3-page scene with Captain Cold. But I'm just I worry for Captain Cold.
Me too, because we all know Luther's a snake in the grass.
Yeah.
And I can't tell. It looks like he's taken blood. I can't tell if they was injecting him with something, but that made me nervous. Like, Captain Cold's the kind of villain that you admire because even though he does bad things, he has a code of honor. He doesn't murder people, and he tries to help people pretty often.
Yeah.
So I felt, I mean, and two, the way he's like, wow, the security guards are wanting to take a picture with me. This is weird. Like, you could tell he's having trouble adjusting to the idea of not being hated.
Right.
And that was endearing to me.
It was. It was a lot of fun to read that. But I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead and finish your synopsis, and then I'll talk.
Oh yeah, I keep interjecting myself with the synopsis. So
It's fine. This is how the review's going, so.
Yeah.
Right.
This is a water cooler. Anything goes. So then we cut back to Bruce Wayne and Lex Luthor, and Bruce tells the old school story of the scorpion that crosses the river with the frog and stings him, but this time a bat swoops in and eats the scorpion, and that's Lex.
That's right.
Lex is the scorpion and Bruce is the bat, and the frog, I
Right.
don't even know who that is. Probably the League.
The Frog is everyone in the Justice League.
Yeah. And so Luthor claims he's not going to blackmail Batman. All he wants is Batman to...
That part was hilarious.
Hilarious. Sounds
He's
like
like,
blackmail to me.
I'm not gonna blackmail you. You just have to let me in the Justice League.
He's like, this is blackmail. Get out of my house. And then the way the scorpion looks after the bat grabs it, it just disintegrates.
Yes. He literally rips it apart.
It was wonderful.
Yes.
So then after that, Bruce gets a call from Superman and Wonder Woman saying, "Oh, Power Ring, we found her." And she's like flipping out. She's got like, there's firemen and innocents running around, and her constructs, the Ring's constructs, she doesn't want it to happen, like tearing the city apart. She's like, "Help, help, I don't know what's going on." And then suddenly, Doom Patrol.
Boom.
Doom Patrol.
Have we seen the Doom Patrol in the New 52?
No, this is the reveal.
Yeah, I think this is a reveal, and I also think it's a reveal that the chick from Flashpoint is on the team.
Yeah, she was in the Justice League, wasn't she?
Yeah,
Element
that's right.
Woman?
Yeah,
the Element Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy that she's in the team. I'm really curious as to what's going on with that.
They look awesome.
They look really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I got psyched at that.
Yeah. Okay, I want to talk about this scene with Batman and Lex Luthor.
Agreed.
Because I kind of wondered to myself, as soon as that first page came in there and they're sitting there drinking coffee or tea, and Bruce is all like, "I don't know what you're talking about, Luthor. I'm not Batman." I was like, okay, how are they going to play this out? Batman's he's gonna deny it. He's gonna keep denying it. He's gonna eject Luthor from the premises. That's kind of what I'm expecting. It does not go that way. As soon as it gets to the part where it starts cutting between them and the grandfather clock, like I can hear that clock.
Yeah.
Luthor pulls a gun out. Bruce is like, "What the heck are you doing? Are you insane?" And then Alfred puts a gun up to the side of Luthor's head, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, we have a Mexican standoff between Luthor and Alfred."
Alfred is amazing.
Standoff has to have one more person.
Yes, well, Bruce is also there. He's just not holding a gun. And then it's like the best action scene in comics. This awesome, 1 second, tick-tock scene between Bruce, Luthor, and Alfred, and it is awesome.
Monkey is killing. I love Ivan Rice, but I would adore seeing Monkey draw this book.
Oh yes.
I am wondering, where is Ivan Rice?
I don't know.
He's with Mike and Hans on their adventure.
Oh boy.
He's on vacation.
Meta right there. That's meta.
He's on the Summer of John's tour.
And that kick that Bruce delivers to Luther.
Oh my
he's sitting there
gosh.
in his
Great
cardigan.
page.
Oh god. I want to marry this book. Like, I freaking love this issue. I know it.
That's a
And
great
Luthor,
issue.
after getting a full-fledged roundhouse kick to the face from Batman, has the wherewithal to turn and shoot that clock with explosive ammo. And
Hey,
boom,
as long as-
an entrance.
As long as we're in the water cooler, and I got to start wrapping this up because I'm gonna have to leave. But Paul, did you read The Flash?
Ice cream, folks.
I haven't read it yet.
Oh crap! There's an
The worst.
amazing Captain Cold
Oh
bit
gosh.
in that issue as well.
I need to get back into the Flash.
You do.
Yeah, there's some good stuff at DC right now.
There is.
It's mostly John's, and then I'm really enjoying The Flash. I haven't read that Lemire Justice League book. Has anyone?
United.
I
Yeah.
read the first issue.
I haven't.
It was interesting.
Hmm.
I'd pick it up if I weren't just so behind everything else. It's something
Yeah.
I'll probably grab in digital or trade later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of mine.
I heard when he writes, he puts his head in an ink jar and just shakes his head on the page.
And it just spells out the words.
Yeah.
That's actually really
These are tea
impressive.
leaves.
Stealing jokes from other podcasts.
There it is. It is.
All right.
Yeah, but before we go, I don't know. I want to say that in one issue of Justice League this month, and in one issue of Superman this month, Johns has shown everyone out there that he still reigns supreme.
Mm.
Eat your heart out, Scott Snyder.
Whoa.
Eat your flipping heart out.
Yeah. Yeah, Bendo. Hey, Bendo, why don't you bend over?
Oh.
John was coming through.
Oh, snap!
Open him up a freight train. Oh dear.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, snap.
Okay.
All right.
Let's go. Let's wrap it up.
Bye.
I love you.
Should I stop recording now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great episode.
Yeah. Now, I want to talk about an Infinite Crisis for a minute that happened on the show.
Uh
I don't know if you noticed me frantically clicking.
Yes.
I looked down at the bottom of, Audacity, it'll say something like so many hours left.
Yeah.
It said 8 minutes left.
Whoa.
What?
And I thought, snap, crackle, and pop.
Have
What
you
am I
not
gonna
been
do?
throwing away any of your?
I deleted Skyrim to save us.
Holy crap!
I deleted Skyrim to save us.
That's crazy.
Oh,
Now
that's
it says I
awesome.
have 8 hours and 53 minutes left.
I gotta go. I gotta go have ice cream.
Okay,
I'll miss you.
I've got to edit.